Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and for unboxings.com. Here I have the Dell Mini 9, which is Dell's offering into the netbook market. I'm just going to do a quick unbox for you and a little tour around the device before we go away and do a written review. The laptop itself is situated right on top, packed in plastic and with another protective cover over it. And that's the laptop itself. We'll look at that in more detail in just a second. As you can see, everything is packed in this recyclable egg box style packaging, which is quite nice. We have a charger, which is quite small. As you can see there, it's got a bullet style connector, pretty typical for netbooks, but it's quite a small, lightweight charger. We have our Dell drivers and utilities and recovery CD. We have our Dell applications, Microsoft Works 9, and then we have our setup guide and information regarding using SIM cards. I'll just move all that out of the way and have a look at the Mini 9 itself. Opening up, we have a 9-inch diagonal display, which is 1024 by 600, which is pretty typical of devices like this. We have a forward-facing VGA camera, which is used for video conferencing and the such. We have a power button here, which I'm just going to hit so that we can start booting up. We're just starting up there. We have a full QWERTY keyboard, but it is somewhat condensed, and something that I should perhaps mention to you. Again, this is fairly typical of these small compact keyboards and compact devices, but there are no dedicated F keys along the top row above the numeric keys, which you would perhaps expect. These are in fact actually a shift function shift there along this main row. And just while that's starting up, I need to mention something else. I don't know if you caught that there, but each time you start up, the screen initially starts up in 800 by 600 pixels and then quickly flashes over to 1024 by 600. Now that might not seem like anything particularly to worry about, but it is somewhat annoying. It's not the end of the world, but because it starts up in 800 600 initially, if you've moved your icons around the desktop in particular locations that you're happy with, and you're laid them out quite nicely on 1024 by 600, when you go and then reboot, because it initially starts up in that lower res, all your icons get moved around, and then when it starts in, flicks over to 1024 by 600, all the icons are obviously moved. So it is somewhat annoying. Obviously there aren't many icons on the desktop by default, but it's something that's worth mentioning. Going back to the keyboard then, so there are all the function keys are shift functions across the middle row of keys, which is okay. I can accept that we want to space the keys out a bit better, hence removing top row of keys. But we only have F1 to F10, which is kind of annoying. The other thing is some of the keys, so certainly over towards the right hand side, are condensed, which is actually quite annoying when you're actually typing and you're hitting different keys here. Some of them being that much smaller, it becomes a little bit irritating, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, as does the fact that the delete key is down here rather than up the top, and so on. But it is something you'll get used to, but it's something that's a little bit frustrating to start off with. Then we have the trackpad below the keyboard, which is not separate. There actually is there's this little line around here, but it is actually part of the bottom half of the keyboard area, so that's actually fitted in, which is kind of cool. And then obviously the mouse keys underneath. Looking around the side of the device, we have power plugs in here, 2 USB 2 sockets, and then a SD MS Pro MMC card socket there. Don't speak of on the front, there's a couple of LEDs that you can see when it's closed, but there's nothing actually on the front of the unit. On the side we have a headphone socket, a microphone socket, vent, USB 2 socket, our VGA out, and then an Ethernet socket. Nothing really to speak of on the back, aside from the back part of the battery, and then the battery itself removes by just pulling it out, like so. And with this particular notebook, there is a SIM card socket. So if you get the particular model that has the built-in 3G modem, you can actually insert a SIM card, and that goes just under the battery. And obviously the battery goes back in like so. Quick rundown of the specification. It's an Intel Atom processor running at 1.6 GHz. It's got 512K of level 2 cache. This particular model has XP, but there is another version that has Ubuntu Linux with a customized Dell interface. We've got 1 GB of RAM. The graphics card is integrated graphics media accelerator Intel 950. As I say, we've got a 9-inch, or actually an 8.9-inch diagonal display. This particular model has 8 gig solid state drive, but you can actually get up to 16 gig depending on the model configuration. And then obviously we've got USB 2.0, video out. Battery is actually a 4-cell 32-hour battery, and that webcam is actually a 1.3 megapixel webcam. So that's the device in a nutshell. We're going to be going away and reviewing the Dell Inspiron Mini 9 over the next couple of weeks. That review will be online for you soon on tracyandmatt.co.uk. But if you like unboxings, why don't you check out our new website, unboxings.com, where you can see more unboxing videos.